got a really good football team coming into our building. Starting with their offense, Deshaun Watson, obviously an outstanding football player, explosive, makes plays late in the down. Their yards per play is very high. Really potent attack. On defense, J.J. Watt, an extremely disruptive player, as everyone knows. He can line up anywhere, so everybody will have an opportunity to try to block him. He's got very long arms, gets his hands on footballs. Special teams, they play very, very hard, have a really good returner. So we've got our work cut out for us there. Got a ton of respect for Coach Cornell and his staff, and we're anticipating this to be quite the challenge.
Yeah, Coach, if you can just elaborate a little bit more on Deshaun Watson, what makes him so good, and even though their record isn't good this year, he's having a really nice season, and he's gotten a little bit hot lately, I believe.
Yeah, I think he's a tremendous football player. You saw what he was able to accomplish in college. They won the division last year, won a playoff game. He makes plays, like I said, late in the down. He makes them on time. He's a threat to run it. He can make all the throws down the field. So it's readily apparent when you watch the tape how talented he is.
Hey, Kevin, when you're talking about Deshaun, his escapability, how do you deal with that as a defense, either in a game plan or just when it happens, the fact that he seems to be able to get out of any situation?
Yeah, we've all seen the play, in the playoffs versus the Bills. I mean, he's a special talent when it comes to that. And you just have to stay true to your rush integrity, and then you really have to get as many people around him as possible. If it's one person, it's hard to bring him down. You've got to have multiple people around him and staying disciplined in your rush.
Hey, D-Man, wouldn't it be great if you're at one of these press conferences and they ask the coach to say something about the other team and some of the players, and the coach just looks into the camera and says, I got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice fodder, but these coaches, most of them anyway, I mean, once in a while you get a crack by a coach toward an opposition. When
Rex Ryan, maybe.
Yeah, but Kevin Stefanski in general, and then certainly Kevin Stefanski as the first-year NFL head coach, is not going to ruffle any feathers in the opposition camp.
But he could have done that just by talking about the defense, pass defense of the Texans. They're not very good. I can say it. He doesn't have to say it. You and I can say it.
Yeah, pass defense, run defense. I think the Texans are extremely vulnerable. They wouldn't be 2-6 if they had a good defense. I will say this. I respect the heck out of Deshaun Watson. He is, an exceptional talent. The problem is what's been around him has left a lot to be desired. But he's capable of hurting the Browns if they're not careful.
All right, let's take a look at we talked about the pass defense and how poor it's been this year in the 2020 season. You take a look, he's got 257 yards allowed, 10th most in the NFL, 18 pass touchdowns allowed, that's 6th most in the NFL, only 2 interceptions forced, that's the fewest in the NFL. 2 interceptions in 8 games, that's lacking a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it with the Browns early in the year. The defense was turning the ball over at a pretty high rate, and it masked some of the issues that the Browns defense had lately. Not as many turnovers. Suddenly they don't look as good. Other teams are able to stay on the field longer. I mean, the remedy to a guy like, to stifle or try to stifle a guy like Deshaun Watson is to have your offense stay on the field for an extended period of time. And that's what I hope the Browns are able to do against the Texans. Just eat up the clock, because, a week ago last Sunday, they saw the Raiders control the ball for basically 38 minutes, and the offense was only on the field for 22 minutes.
Yeah.
So
if you can switch that around, eventually you're gonna move the ball on them, and eventually you're gonna score, which is obviously indicative of the big numbers they have.
Well, unless here's the thing. The Raiders didn't need to score that many points. They only scored 16, but they still won the game. Why? Because they had the ball for so long.
Right.